So, Kajabi has just raised their prices for 2026. And naturally, a lot of people are deciding to jump ship. They're moving to other more affordable platforms. They're taking their business elsewhere. And I can't say I'm not surprised. I mean, I'll be the first to say that, I'm not the biggest fan of price hikes, especially um, when you've been on something for so long and you kind of expect things to stay the same. It sort of comes as a shock when, prices are raised. And we shouldn't be surprised, but we naturally are, right? Like things with like tariffs and inflation, like we naturally see prices rising. However, with digital platforms, I guess it's a little bit different. But I want to share with you a couple of reasons, three to be exact, why I'm actually staying with Kajabi while other people are jumping ship. These are three practical reasons. I'm not trying to be a shill for Kajabi or anything like that. I just want to share with you honestly why I've decided to stay with a platform rather than moving to another one. And I hope these can maybe provide a little bit of insight into my thought process. And if you're sort of on the fence yourself, maybe this can help you make a decision as well, one way or the other. So the very first reason I'm staying with Kajabi, even though they've raised their prices, is because my business has already been built on the platform. And I think this is something that Kajabi themselves are naturally trying to bank on, right? The fact that if you're a business owner, you've been with Kajabi for a while, you've already have all of your systems set up, all of your products in place, all of your email marketing, your website hosting, everything is already laid into the platform. You've already put in the work to set things up. It would make sense just to stay with the platform and maintain that level of simplicity. Whereas if you're moving over to another platform, number one, they might not offer the same features, they might not speak the same language. So you would have to end up rebuilding everything from scratch. And naturally, as a business owner, most of us, we want to do things simply, right? We want to provide our value. We want to transform people's lives. We don't necessarily want to be caught up in all the technical details. So for me, one of the biggest reasons I'm staying with a platform is simply because I've already been using Kajabi for 6 years at this point, I believe. 5-6 years. And in the first couple of months especially, I spent a lot of time trying to build things up, get the systems running, getting everything to sort of link together properly. And it did take a lot of work. And I don't really want to have to go through that process again with another platform. So that's probably the most practical reason why I'm staying, is just because everything is already set up. Now, if you are just starting out though, let's say you are maybe a brand new business owner, you just have a couple of ideas to get started, you don't really even have a course yet, well, it's very low investment for you at that point because you probably didn't take that much time to set things up. You probably only have a couple things, if anything, that you set up in Kajabi. So it's very easy to just pick up your bags and move to another platform. Whereas, as someone who has used Kajabi for pretty much everything, in my business, everything is already set in place. So it kind of makes sense to just stay with it, even though the price is slightly higher. So that's the first reason. The second reason is actually because, Kajabi is a sort of all-in-one platform. And that is the biggest benefit of using a tool like Kajabi. Kajabi really was the original online platform that promised a sort of all-in-one business solution. And ever since, they've sort of been growing, and just getting more support on the team and incorporating other things like AI and stuff. But now with I think his name was Ahad or Kenny, sorry. They're sort of back at the helm of operations and just making sure things run properly. They're taking more of that creator first mindset, which is really nice to see. But anyway, just this all-in-one approach that Kajabi offers can't really be mimicked that well by other platforms. And ultimately, I still think that Kajabi is a great deal for what you offer, or for what they offer. And that's actually step 3, or the reason number 3, which we'll talk about in just a couple of minutes. But the whole point is just that everything is built into the platform already. It's all within that same space. So whether you need email marketing and then you want, let's say, payment processing to be applied to, let's say, your customers, for them to be granted their products automatically without you having to be there, have your website set up on the platform, everything is just included inside Kajabi. So you don't actually need to have any third-party platforms taped together, whereas I did when I was starting out in the very beginning. I had 3 platforms that I was using at the same time. And it was sort of a headache because I didn't want to have to manage all those different tools. If I could choose, I just would want to have one single thing. and Kajabi does offer that to me. So that's the second reason why I'm sticking with Kajabi, is because it really is that all-in-one solution that I personally would need for my business. And the fact that they continue to update it with features down the line is always a good sign as well, showing that they are listening to their customers and implementing new changes, which is cool to see. So that is the second reason, is simply because the all-in-one functionality is worth it for me. The third and final reason is down to the price. So even though they did raise the prices slightly for the different plans, the total price that they're charging is still a lot less than what I would be paying for the separate platforms if I had to tape them all together. So I just mentioned how I was using multiple platforms before, right? I was using MailChimp for my email marketing, and then eventually I used ConvertKit. I was also using Wix for my website, and then I was using Podia for my course hosting. And so those three platforms combined together, I think I was paying like $200 plus per month. Whereas now with Kajabi's price update, it's actually around the same price. But I realized when I was still with those multiple platforms that as my email list would continue to grow, ConvertKit or MailChimp would charge me more and more and more. So that price would actually scale with my business, which is obviously not something you would want. The good thing about Kajabi and other similar platforms is that, no matter how much you're making or how much your business grows, the flat rate, monthly or annual, it maintains as long as you are subscribed to the platform. So for me, that's sort of a no-brainer as well. Just the fact that what I'm paying now, I know that it would cost less compared to me taping these different platforms together. Now you could argue that, if you have 3-4 different platforms, they all have their strengths in their own unique areas, right? Like for example, ActiveCampaign is a dedicated email marketing platform. And yes, those features are definitely stronger than what Kajabi would offer in terms of email marketing. That said though, there's also something to be said for the simplicity and the streamlined nature of all-in-one platforms, because they don't want to spend all their resources just making one area of the platform the very, very best in the world. I would much rather have a bunch of tools in the suite of offerings that do things well, rather than having just one platform that does something, spectacularly, for example, because then I would still need other things to make the whole system work. Whereas if you're with Kajabi, just the one platform, everything works well together. Even if all the individual features aren't the most robust on the market, you still have more than you would need for most business owners, I would say. So those are the three reasons that I'm staying with Kajabi, even though they raised their prices this past year. My business is already built on it, so I've already put in the work once, and it just makes sense to stay with it. Number two is that the all-in-one nature really is attractive, and the fact that they, again, are continuing to update it every so often. Every month, I actually believe. They have these roadmaps that they share with their creators that share like the new features that are coming and all that stuff. For me, it's worth it just to stick with what they offer, because it really makes things super simple. And the third and final reason, again, the price that they charge, even though it is a little more than it was before, it is still less than what I would be paying combining multiple platforms together. So hopefully that was helpful. If you're on the fence, let me know if you are deciding to leave Kajabi or if you're sticking with Kajabi. If you are a new user, you are considering Kajabi as your online business platform, I think the third reason will be probably the most reassuring, knowing that whatever platform you choose, there is a likelihood that you will have to tape together multiple platforms, especially if it specializes in just like one thing. Whereas Kajabi does offer you a multitude of tools, a suite of things that you would need for your business, and it's all contained in the single platform, which I think is super worth it. So if you are considering the platform and you do want to try it out, they usually give you a 14-day free trial on their website. But if you use my affiliate link down below in the description, christophersiu.com/Kajabi, then I can get you an extended 30-day free trial. So more than double the trial, plus 2 bonus mini courses, Kajabi in 30 days, which will walk you through step-by-step how to build your business on Kajabi during your free trial. You can put it into practice and you'll see how simple it really can be to start your business on the single platform. And the second course is called Content Marketing for Creatives, which walks through step-by-step how I go through my business model of putting out content into the world for free, adding valuable content, and then monetizing it on the back end through paid offerings, courses, coaching, whatever it might be. That's all explained in that second mini course. So if you want to take me up on this, again, the link is down below in the description, and I look forward to having you inside. But in any case, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video, and I'll see you very, very soon. Take care.